Hi, I'm Seamless, and we're back with Superior Drummer 3, having made our low-end kick, snare, and tom situation with some pretty exotic fun stuff. And now we're going to add together the cymbals portion of this whole experience. We have the cymbals that are built in here, which, like, I swear, absolutely nothing is better than a real piece of metal being smacked by something in a room insofar as cymbals are concerned. It's been a synthesis issue for kind of a long time. So I've never met a cymbal that's real that I didn't like. Is the moral of that story. Like, I kind of just love all of these. Oh, in particular, like, I love this right out of this kit. And there's like this, like, I've played some of these in real life, and like this, I want one of these in real life. I've never, and this is not. I've played one of these. I've now played, and this is the one that sounds best to me. So I'm always rocking it. And you see, I left that last cymbal open. It's because we're gonna go get a gong. Because on top of all these, I have a kit that has orchestral percussion stuff, and that includes goings. Oh, yes. Love it. Just like the kicks and stuff, we're gonna route the instrument microphones. The cymbals already have their guys going, so we'll get to deal with them when we get there. So you're gonna go into your dynamic, because that's where the cymbals are. Mains are gonna be our amp mid. And I'm going to rear height and rear height. Cool. Test your might. And as for cymbals, we're going to check in our overhead condensing that the metals are not in there. The overheads are in here. And hi-hat is not considered a metal. That's kind of funny. So cool. This is basically the whole kit now, because if I play the thing. It occurred to me that it was still putting stuff in the ribbons, which is why some of the things were doubled up. Some instruments go into some mics by default on these kits, so just be careful about that. Okay, so now we have the setup of cymbals. Now, I want to actually show you a really fun trick when it comes to hi-hats and synthetic investment, because you'd think if I'm doing that, I'd be like, all right, cool, let's go get some hats, right? But we actually do not really need to do that. In here, we have billions of articulations, and some of them aren't even on. Let's talk about why there's all these articulations. This is so that you can map this to an electronic hi-hat, like, piece of controller, that's how you'd say that. Yeah. And what this is about is that, like, you have one of these pedals, right? And it has just a position detector about how far you go down or whatever. And it just crossfades through picking these. And that allows you to have, like, fairly real control over how a hi-hat feels like a hi-hat. But when you're playing this, you don't really need all of them. Like, you can find a way to use all of these, but, like, this isn't like FPC where, like, this is the highest one and that's the lowest one. These all have their own entire individual sets of stuff. So usually I'm either using one of these two as for, like, my main, like, piece of hi-hat. But I could alternate between one of them, and they also can have individually charged changes in the settings. All of a sudden, if I want to, I can just choose to play a synthetically tight, short, airless hi-hat. And I've chosen the one that's not using hi-hat. Where's the ones in the hats? So the way I just did there is turning it off there because it was actually playing this one. But then this would be the one I would use to be like, oh, it's got closure. Closure. So if you're ever using a hi-hat, because it's a fairly, you might think, you might have thought about this immediately and then try to do this to it globally. Because you could just select the thing and then do that, and then it'll apply this to all of the articulations. Which, for example, you don't really want to do to the open guys. Now you can have both. I mean, you could always have done that, but now you know how. That's a neat little hi-hat trick there. Sometimes I want to shorten these dudes individually the same way that we do these out here. And if we're going to do that, where that happens now is here. This is essentially the main like input signal piece of thing for all the cymbals, but they are for all the cymbals. So that means that like realistically they need to be handled individually. But fortunately, that's actually not so bad for the cymbals. Like it. You see how this actually is not on note on by default. So even though that's inhumanly short, in realistically short, it doesn't actually sound unauthentic, does it? Like, you almost can physically do that to a cymbal if you choke it hard enough. So like that actually doesn't sound as off as that does against itself. So it doesn't matter so much that there's not individual close mics for every single one of these cymbals. But guess the hell what? There are actually some packs where there are close mics for every individual cymbal, including the ride. In fact, Area 33 has just extra bells chilling in their kit. It's really extensive. So, like, even though you don't have to do that, they go that far. And if you want them, they got them. All right. This kit is the kit. Next time, we're going to go over how to get using the buses to get pretty bus happy about smashing them together compression-wise and reverb-wise, and letting you get a whole kit out that has essentially the unprocessed main power ready to go, but with like a processed feeling. That's what that's going to be about. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And as usual, have a nice day.